I'm Simon Connor, the Registrar. So I will oversee all the process of admissions within our department, and I will hopefully give you a flavour of Cheltenham College for the next 20 minutes. Cheltenham College is run by Nicola Huggett, who has been our head for 2 years. We are co-educational, and we have pupils from ages 13 to 18. We are over 80% boarding, and this year we're 728 pupils. We do also have a prep school, which is on the campus next door to us. They're run by Tom O'Sullivan. They run from 2 to 13, and they have 40 full-time boarders and 406 pupils. Pupils, as a general rule, tend to start boarding there in year 4 or 5. I'm only going to address the senior school today, however. We are located bang in the southwest, bang between Bristol, Oxford and Birmingham. We have a regular coach service to Heathrow, and we're right on the edge of the Cotswolds, which is a beautiful part of Britain. Cheltenham itself is very small, very safe. It has a lot of events going on. It's a centre of often we have literature festivals, music festivals, science festivals. We have easy access to Wales for outdoor exercises, and then we're surrounded by lots of airports, which makes us very easily accessible. We are, the majority of the pupils are full boarding, and one of the things we're most proud of is our sense of community. All the boys and girls feel very much part of one community. The staff, the pupils, the senior boys and the junior girls, and senior girls and junior boys all get on very well together. They have a real sense of belonging, and they feel part of the community. And we feel it's really important because that makes sure that the boarding environment is very happy, and therefore the boys and girls are well looked after, and therefore they're able to thrive within the environment. This is the building that you saw in the previous picture was our chapel, and this is the inside of the chapel. The real opportunity, we're big enough that we can provide a huge range of opportunities, but also small enough that the whole school can come together as a community. Unfortunately, as Tessa said quite a few times, we have a lot of COVID restrictions on at the moment, and to make sure the pupils are safe. So therefore, only a few pupils are allowed to go for each service. But again, we have the building where they can still go in there. They still can enjoy these amazing surroundings. But as a general rule, the whole community is able to come together, and it's quite common for senior boys, senior girls to give talks to the whole school. That happens once a week. A member of staff might give a talk, lead the service, and then the chaplain does that as well. So we meet in there 5 times a week, so the whole community really gets to be one. And the boarding houses, we have 5 girls' houses and 6 boys' houses. They're all around the edge of the college campus. All houses, boys and girls in their house would start at year 9, and they stay in it for their 5 years. If they came in at 6th form, they'd stay in the same house for 2 years. This allows them to build a real bond with the staff in the house, a real bond with the other girls in their house, or boys as appropriate. And also it gives the senior boys or senior girls a real opportunity to have some leadership and helping the houses run. And again, they really invest in them and see them as their home. And therefore it means that they're a homely atmosphere and they really become part of it. This is Mr. and Mrs. Evans. So Dan Evans runs a house called Leconfield, and he lives there with his family. Within the boarding houses, there are the housemaster or housemistress and their family, and there are also 2 other resident staff with their families as well. So all the boarding houses have three sets of families living within them as well. So it means there's a lot of support, but also there's a lot, even if one member of staff was not there, there's likely to be another one. During the day as well, a day matron comes in at 7:30 and is there until 6 p.m. So the boys and girls can go back to the house during the day to do their study periods, if they have an issue, if they've lost something, and there's always going to be a smiley face to look after them and sort them out. Pupils eat in our central dining. So people often describe this as a sort of Hogwarts. Again, it allows the boys and girls in their year group to get to know all the other boys and girls in their year group. Again, at the moment, due to COVID, they're having very different meal times. We're having to separate each year group, and we've got year group bubbles. But again, the size of the dining room allows a bubble to be at one end while we clean the other end, and then we change them over. And we're also having smaller bubbles within the house year groups, but smaller groups within house groups as well. So again, it's making sure that we can really protect the pupils as they go about their daily life. But again, in normal times, hopefully post-COVID, it will return to being able to get to know all the boys and girls in their year group quickly, being able to get to know the boys and girls in the year group above and the year group below. Food is very important in any school, and this is the servery. So the boys and girls all come in through here on the way through to the dining room you just saw on the last slide. We just spent just over £1 million a couple of years ago just on the servery and the cooking facilities to make sure that we are providing a huge range of food, and again, you know, that first class experience while they're eating. Again, it doesn't look quite like this at the moment because of COVID, so that pupils can't serve themselves. So it's all in smaller dishes which they can choose, but we're still providing them with a huge selection. Academically, is obviously at the heart of Cheltenham College, making sure that when the boys and girls come to us, they achieve of their best. Our previous head really focused on the academic teaching and learning, and as a result, our academic results have seen quite a large rise in his tenure, and so now we are regularly producing A-level grades between 75 and 80% A-star to B. Last year, you can see the results there. So GCSE, 44% were 9 to 8s, 60% were 9 to 7s, and at A-level, 59% were A-stars and A's, and 85% A-stars to B's. This is done through excellent teaching and learning. We have a deputy head academic. We also have a deputy head learning and well-being. And so we really looked at how we teach to make sure that the pupils achieve of the best. All departments have clinics twice a week, which pupils can drop into. We have a learning support department. We have an Eal Department, which I'll talk about a bit later on. We also, tutoring is really important. Every pupil has their tutor. So for years 9 to 11, the tutor will be a group of 6 boys or 6 girls. And the tutor will see them for half an hour on a Monday morning, which is academic tutoring, 10 minutes on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, just touching base. And then on a Friday afternoon, we have a Floriat session, and that is looking at how they approach their work. It looks at how their mental well-being, their physical well-being. It looks at how they also, in terms of preparing them for after school as well. So it looks at, you know, giving presentations, developing CVs, etc. So there's a huge amount of support. We also have a learning mentor who goes around the boarding houses in the evening, and the pupils can sign up with her, and she will give them support to ensure that they're getting the best grades that they can. As Tessa said, we did a full programme online last term when we were closed. Every lesson was taught. Nothing was cut. Every lesson was taught by a teacher. We do have some pupils this term doing online learning who couldn't come back, and so therefore they are still getting the full educational package. We even did co-curricular and sport as well in lockdown. On average, about 75% of our pupils go to Russell Group universities. This year, we've had 5 students go to Oxbridge and 7 to medicine, dentistry and veterinary. And there is a list there of some of the most popular courses this year and some of the most popular universities. Preparation for after school and preparation for university are absolutely key at Cheltenham College. We spend a huge amount of time right at year 9 looking at career possibilities. We have a member of staff who runs the University and Careers Centre, not an academic staff, full-time person, and her whole role is helping pupils look at careers, looking at work experience, and preparing for university. We think it's so important that they make start thinking about careers, make the right GCSE choices and the right A-level choices that allows them to follow the careers they want, but also making sure that their application for university is successful. Oxbridge courses in year 11, pupils identified, and they're given a tutor who supports them all the way through the process for nearly 2 years to make sure that they are well prepared to go to Oxbridge, and the same for medicine, dentistry and veterinary. The tutors in the 6th form are also trained to be able to help the pupils write excellent applications. We have a 3-day off timetable in the lower 6 where all pupils will hear talks from universities on how to prepare for universities. They will go and visit some universities. So we want to make sure that they choose a university course that's right for them and where they'll flourish and then get into the workplace. And also we do a lot of time looking at how they look after themselves at university and also how they prepare themselves for getting the right career. Some notable Cheltonians that have left recently. It shows that the skills that we give them of resilience, determination, character means that they can succeed. And here's 5 examples of pupils that have left recently who have all gone on to be huge success in various different areas. From a sporting point of view, Jamie Chadwick is considered one of the best female drivers in the world at the moment. Ollie Thorley is on the fringes of the England rugby team. Eric Robson's not got a photo there, but he's just graduated with a first from Cambridge in history. James McWilliam, actually one of my tutees, has become vice president at Merrill Lynch. And Olivia Burt has been on MasterChef and is now a sous chef in London. So whatever field pupils want to go into, we give them the skills that allow them to succeed in those areas. I think it's really important that we address how we help overseas pupils settle into college life. We are 20% overseas. From 31 countries are represented in that percentage at the moment. So it's a very diversified intake of overseas pupils, and they are totally integrated into school life. We think it's important that they integrate, and therefore we will help them choose their house to make sure that there isn't too many international pupils in that house, but also we do want to have some international pupils in there, so they have support from other pupils around them. In terms of helping them settle in, we have a head of internationalism, and he is supported by a group of senior boys and senior girls who their roles are to help overseas pupils settle in. So we have a induction programme, which is slightly longer for overseas pupils to help them really settle in. They have events throughout the year. They have mentors who look after them. They have their own evening as well. This is where international pupils encouraged to dress up in maybe some of their some sort of traditional clothing from their countries, perhaps, and invite guests. I've chosen these two for the picture because these two actually did a talk to the whole of the staff last year, in which they gave us feedback on how teachers could do better in helping the international pupils in the classroom. And it was really enlightening to hear what they had to say. And again, giving us ideas that we can take on board to support them. I've talked quite a lot about the tutor support, but we also have an Eal department. All pupils, when they do our entrance papers, we will give them feedback and recommendation on anything they might need to do before they arrive, or the support that we would be able to provide when they get to Cheltenham College. But we also, as part of that induction programme, do just check their English again, just to make sure that the support they get once they're here is personalised. And it might be 4 lessons to start off with, it might be 1 lesson, it might go on for a whole year, it might stop after a few weeks. So every pupil is treated individually by the head of EAL to make sure that their English is good enough to be able to succeed as well as they can in the classroom. Outside of the classroom, we have a huge co-curricular programme. Again, in COVID, orchestras are being done, choirs, plays are being done in smaller groups by year group. So the performances will be done by year group bubbles again. But music is a huge part of Cheltenham College's life. This is Bill, who became Gloucestershire's Young Musician of the Year, and hopefully he's going to be in the UK Musician of the Year this year, but hopefully it'll go ahead. But we're an all Steinway school, so all our pianos are Steinway, and we have a huge range of symphony, chamber orchestras, jazz bands, and a huge range of choirs, from traditional choirs, scholar cantorums, all the way through to pop choirs. Sports, everyone does sport 3 times a week. We have 20 different sports. We have 150 different teams. We have 19 full-time sports professionals. So if you're an A-team player, you get excellent coaching. If you're a D-team player, you still have an enthusiastic coach. That means that you get a good experience and enjoy being part of a team. Art, drama, DT are very big parts of our community as well, and pupils have a huge opportunity to thrive in those areas. The clubs, we have clubs that run on every afternoon, Monday to Thursday. So every pupil has to do at least 2 afternoons, and there's a huge opportunity, and they range from art through to architecture, through to basketball, through to mini MBAs. So there's a huge opportunity for them to get involved with lots of different activities. We also think charity is a huge part of, should be part of college life. Every pupils in year 10 will do some charity work, and in the lower 6, everyone will do a bit of charity work. So this could be working in local primary schools, working with the local homeless. We run orphanages in Kenya, Nepal, and Romania. So again, pupils have opportunity to go out there to fundraise, to do some building out there, and actually do the building when they get out there, and look after children that are a bit more disadvantaged and so forth. The pupils get a huge amount out of this by being able to give back to the community. Developing character, I talked about earlier, is very important, and there's a huge amount of trips organised by the school. We have a lot of outside speakers come in to give inspiration to our pupils. And again, at the moment, COVID has stopped all these, but they will come back again soon, I'm sure. This is just an example. So the trips, there are lots of trips that happen during term time. This is the geography trip, which is a biannual trip to Iceland. So again, we do lots of holidays, trips in the holidays, which are extras. And trips have gone to Japan, Galapagos Islands, Cuba, in the last few years. So there's a huge amount of opportunity for pupils to go and see the rest of the world. So I would like to finish with this slide, which just we feel gives a real sense of our values and what we would like to instill in our pupils. So we'd like to give them curiosity in the academic world, but also outside the academic world, develop their intellectual curiosity, develop their independent learning. We want to develop creativity, so develop interests beyond the classroom, could be spiritual, creative in the way they approach their academic work, in which they approach the workplace after school. Character, we talked about that quite a lot, having a good sense of character, wanting to succeed, showing integrity and compassion, being part of the community. That is has always been one of the big C's at Cheltenham College, being part of a community, showing community spirit, looking after other pupils around you. And then obviously continuous excellence. So whatever you do, we're always looking at how we can improve it, how we can provide the best excellent opportunity, but also want to instill in the pupils how they approach and how can they be excellent themselves in everything that they do. So the 5 C's summarize our values of Cheltenham College. I'd just like to say thank you very much for listening. I hope that gave you a brief insight into Cheltenham College, and I look forward to hopefully to speaking to quite a few of you in a few weeks' time. So and I'll be able to answer your questions there. I think I now hand over to Millfield 4 minutes early. Goodbye.